In today's episode, we're going to tell you a little bit about the Nosfet Aero. Everyone knows how good it is. You've seen the reviews already. I won't go through too much detail. I don't need to tell you how good it is. It's basically a 1100 watt hour battery driving a 2000 watt high torque motor at 126 volts. So really good torque, really comfortable suspension. Anyway, we don't need to go into all that. I want to talk to you today about the pad setup that we have. We actually have the 3.5 inch off-road knobby tyre, which I think is really a really good choice. It's quite a snug fit, but taking off the little tyre hairs, there's no scrapage against the battery boxes. Also wanted to talk to you about the pedals. I have got some pedal risers, had a bit of an issue with those, and I came up with another solution, but we'll go through that. This was actually an upgrade from a 14D. Mason learnt on a 14D, had about 6 months experience, and I kept that for the moment, just thinking, just until he gets comfy on this wheel and make sure he can get up on it, because it's a bit of a weight difference. He was up first go, perfect. So definitely a good upgrade from an entry-level wheel, and for a younger rider as well. He's 12 years old, and he's probably about 30 kilos, so maybe just over 30 kilos, but really good for lighter riders, and really easy transition from a smaller wheel as well. As you can see, he's quite comfy on it now, and I'm getting him ready to come out into the forest with me in summer. It's actually in the middle of winter here in Australia. So anyway, we'll go into some more details of the wheel later on when I can show you a bit closer up. Now for starters, this wheel is really good looking. I wanted to start off talking about the tyre first. We went the 3.5 knobby, which I'm really happy with. It's really comfy ride, really nice round profile. So the only issue, it's a snug fit, definitely a snug fit if you have a look down the sides there, but there is room for it, it does fit. One thing I did do was trim off the little tyre hairs that were on the side here, so I went through and just trimmed off the ones off these edge knobs, and that made it fit really quite nicely. So there's definitely room either side for it. It is snug, but it does fit. And I can say the ride feel on this turning is really nice. This is going to be great off-road in the trails. We live with a forest right up the road, so that's one of the reasons I got this particular tyre. But yeah, and I think I think it just really suits the wheel as well. But I can definitely recommend this 3.5 knobby. Very stable, and look, great for turning. As you can see, we all know it's a tubeless one. Really easy to get to, really easy to pump up, and you've got the security of a tube not popping, which I really like. Now these pedal risers, now I know I got probably one of the first batches, and I was lucky enough to have the batch 2 Nosfet Aero, so it had the holes all already drilled in there, which I thought, yeah, it's going to make that really easy. I tell you what, I've pretty much given up on them. The thread inside the pedals is really not the greatest at all, and I remember on the instruction video he was showing and recommending that you wind it in most of the way by finger and just tighten it with the Allen key. I tell you what, trying to get these actual screws supplied in was absolutely useless. Now I tried screwing with my fingers, of course, like they said, and look, I've got to say that I probably got it at maybe 2 or 3 turns. Now if you can see the discoloration on it, it's probably, see if I can get this close up for you, you'll be able to see it. If we get the sun right, the light's actually not doing it. So it was about up to there I got it in. And basically by the time you get the Allen key and start winding it in further, you end up rounding out the top. So the thing just spins in there. Now that happened, again, like we're talking maybe 3 or 4 mil in. Sorry, the focus is so bad on this. Yeah. But if you see the discoloration on the end, or where it looks a little bit You can see all this fresh thread up this end. It's basically from about there down that I got in. From there, it was just spinning. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go get some high tensile bolts and I'll get something shorter. I went and got these, which are only 10 mil long. I thought, as long as I've got enough to fasten them in there quite well, that should be fine. Again, high tensile ones, I got to about there and round out the top. So I was able to get one side sort of almost in, but it was at the point where I knew if I was just a little bit sloppy with them and couldn't get them far enough in, and I rounded out the top just like these again, I didn't want to be in a situation where I couldn't get them back out and they were just sloppy and floating around. So I opted to not go that route, unless you've got a way to tap that thread in here. I do not recommend these pedal risers, unfortunately. There's no way in hell I was ever going to get these things in there all the way in. No way in hell. So look, unless they've changed them or updated the threads on them, I really don't recommend that as an option. My solution, and it seems to work really well, and you can't even see it because of the light. I'll turn this around. Simple Velcro. And this seemed to do it really well. It gives you enough grip to be able to slide in under the pads, and your feet don't slip around at all. So this is the solution I came up with, and I think it looks all right with the Velcro as well. It sort of suits that. But that's all you need for this wheel. You don't need the spikes, I don't believe, and you just don't want to go through the nightmare of trying to put them in. So that is my that was my solution to the pedals, and I can tell you now, it's really all you need for this wheel. Next thing is the Velcro solution we came up with. Now, there's a Facebook group which is Nosfet users, and there's a guy called Hong Nguyen on there who actually came up with some infill panels for the indents on this, which I had 3D printed. You can order them at 3D Colts. If you search for Nosfet Aero, you'll see those bits of red in there. They go all the way up and basically follow the contours of those little indents. There was the same on the back as well. And there's also one at the top here, which goes over the suspension. So that's all. There's basically no indents on that. That's all really nice and flat. That's created an excellent flat surface for the pads, and that basically solves that problem. So the indents and the gorgeous curves on it are really not an issue if you're velcroing the whole thing. You could also leave this free as well if you wanted to show the suspension, but we thought for the sake of having freedom of putting whatever pads we wanted on, that was probably the best solution for us. And I actually like a little hint of red. It works well with the pads. Now the pads themselves, we found that Grizzla Baby are probably the perfect size for this. You don't really need anything else because it's such a light wheel, so you don't need to be you don't really need huge pads to be able to, and much surface area to be able to get the torque out of it that you need. I've ridden these myself, of course, and these are plenty and quite comfortable. So I can certainly recommend Grizzla Baby. They suit the wheel really well, and it just gives you heaps of room to move them around and really position them where you want to make it a comfortable ride.